Hi, I'm David, and welcome to another episode of Changing Times. Today's guest is Michael Skelly, co-owner of Connec Studios. I hope you enjoy and stay safe. Hi, Michael. How's everything going?
Hello, yeah, not bad considering the circumstances, but um, good. Keeping positive,
Good.
keeping positive. Yeah,
First of all, tell us what is your business? What's your profession?
yeah, absolutely. So we are Connect Studios. So I am co-owner alongside Kelly Phillips, and we have a dance, performing arts, fitness, and health and wellbeing studio based in Seaforth in Liverpool. So we look at all different styles of dance, singing, drama, lots of different types of fitness classes for all ages, and a lot of yoga, meditation. And then, yeah, we look at we like to see ourselves not just as a dance and performing arts school, we're certainly a community hub in the area. So we offer the space out for the community as well. And so we like to think of ourselves as, a community hub, but focusing on dance, performing arts and fitness, health and wellbeing.
That's great. So, how has the lockdown and pandemic affected yourselves then?
Oh God, right. It's a hard one. It's been absolutely crazy, as you know, and it's we've all had to change our lives completely, and certainly for us, we've been open now about 2.5 years,
Yeah.
but we've only been in our new premises since last August, and we officially opened in September. So, being in the new premises for less than a year it's been wonderful, but then this happening, it's been a bit crazy. It's been a bit like, I think for me and for my business partner Kelly as well, is the impact it's going to have on us and the long term. I get everyone's in the same position and everyone's going to be feeling like that as well. But I think the longer this goes on for, how's it going to impact us? So, do we go back to square one, after, working really, really hard, over the last sort of 8 to 9 months in our new premises and building on, the fitness, the dance, the performing arts, and building our clientele and building a community, as the months go on, naturally it's going to impact it. And I think for us, it's what happens when we go back, the uncertainty, taking aside the financial impacts of it and everything else, it's actually the impacts of, as a family, as a community we have going at Connect Studios is the worrying part, I think, yeah.
So, have you made any changes? Obviously, now no one can go to the studio, and everyone's at home, or your students are at home. Have you made any changes or made any new additions to what you do?
Yeah, I think absolutely. So I think like most dance schools and performing arts schools, especially, we're doing all this Zoom meetings and online classes, etc. So we've created a timetable between myself and Kelly, and thankfully our staff have been wonderful. They've been absolutely amazing and still offered their time, and they've been understanding. So we have like a private sort of Connect Studios resource page. We've been uploading lots of material onto there. Not even just performing art or dance or singing classes. It's, even just little things for the parents at home, like colouring books or activities, and trying to keep, students engaged in that way as well. But then we have a timetable with myself, Kelly, and all our teachers, where, we do at least a class a day. We haven't done our full timetable. Some schools have, and absolutely amazing that they've done that. It's fantastic. For us, we've not done that. So we've done a couple of classes each day so that the students are still able to be engaged within Connect Studios and still have that, bit of time with their teachers. So it has changed, and, we're all learning, and we're certainly still learning as we go on. And the longer this goes on, we're learning new things, technology, but we're getting there. And certainly, we've had some fantastic response from, parents and guardians, and, allowing that time for the students to still be engaged with Connect Studios and with us, and try and still have that relationship of being able to do classes, because certainly, it's so hard, because their children need to develop their technique. They need to develop their techniques in dancing and singing, drama, and and keeping up with their fitness, the adults doing their fitness. They've all got to a stage where, we can see progression, and having a pause, it's not necessarily, a great thing to happen, but it happens, but we'll get there, and we're just still trying to develop the children's techniques really as best as possible.
So are you finding doing it on Zoom and different facilities like this helped? Obviously, it's helped keeping the studio teachers and students together, but have you found it difficult in putting it across over a camera?
Absolutely, it's the worst thing. I personally do not like it. I think it's it's great. It's great. We have to do it because the times, and we're all locked down. But in the industry we are in, I'm not. I'm not a call center. I don't want to be doing face-to-face meetings with the students. It's not what we're about. It's not what the art is about. And I've sort of found, I've dealt with it, but I think the difficulty is I love the students being there. I love the students and the passion from the students being in that room with you, being creative and developing new material together with your students. Yes, I'll go in there as a teacher and I'll go in with choreography and the kids bounce off it and they love it. And you get that, you don't get that through virtual meetings and whatnot. So, that is the difficult side of it, whereas you can't necessarily see what they're developing and what the skills they're doing through a camera. You can try, but you want to be there and fixing them, fixing their legs and fixing their arms. And I can tell them over camera, but that's the best you're going to get over camera.
Yeah.
And I think it's also the relationship you have with your students, when you're in the studio. You can have fun, you can have a laugh, you can, and also work hard. But I think when you're together, you collaborate together and you build up all this passion in one room and, and you create a buzz. But, over virtual meetings, you don't necessarily get that as much as you can try your best to do it. So I think I'm certainly missing out on that. I'm missing, collaborating with the students as well as, just giving them a high five or giving them a hug. And, I'm missing the students so much. But we will get there. We'll all get through it.
You will. So how has it been between yourself and Kelly? Have you been keeping the creative, or are you planning what you're going to do in the future, or are you just going to try and pick up where you did, or the new things that you've implemented, are you looking at continuing to do when everything goes back to normal?
Absolutely. Me and Kelly have been, having discussions and talking every single day, and it's non-stop. Kelly's in her home, I'm in my home, but we're still working as much as we possibly can. So regarding to the performing arts and the dance classes, as soon as we get back in that studio, sadly we were just meant to have our show on the 26th of March. Obviously then we went into lockdown, so we've certainly got a lot of things to be thinking about for when we get back. Was booking in the new show. Parents have amazingly paid all this money for costumes and booked tickets for the show, and sadly we had to cancel the show due to the lockdown. So we need to get back in that studio straight away, really. Is say we get back in September, August, whenever we get back in, we're not just going to be able to have a show there and then, because the kids have been out for 2, 3, 4, 5 months. Yeah. So we'll have to get back in, working on the show material again. Maybe that'll take a couple of months, and then hopefully, if it's say August, September, we can maybe have a Christmas show. So we've been planning all that. We also, alongside Connec Studios, we do Connec parties. So I think the sad thing was having to ring up some were students, some were other people in the communities, Manchester, Liverpool, Runcorn. And we're having to call those people up and say, we've got to cancel your party, of course, and it's sad, because you sort of think at home, oh my God, we're ruining someone's birthday. And so, yeah, Connec Studios and Connec parties, we are still planning massively, we're planning. So it's sort of been over the last 3 months, myself and Kelly have been working really hard on a new educational programme. And we've been slowly doing this programme over the last 3 months, but the incentive of being on lockdown is that we've been able to really, hit hard on that and implement this. So like we've been working with primary schools, secondary schools, colleges, even the workplaces, and creating an educational program all to do with around fitness, health and wellbeing, and performing arts. And we've come up with this great big booklet, and it's going out, So basically this last month I've been finalising the booklet and the design of the booklet and getting that together. So that's, maybe a day or two away from finish. So at least I've had that time to be able, to create that booklet, and now I've got that for the schools, and we've still been, working with schools even during lockdown. There's a bit of uncertainty, but, we're quite excited that Connec Studios, we won't just go back and think, oh my God, like, what are we going to do? We can't do nothing. It's actually give us a bit of time to focus on areas what we necessarily wouldn't have that time, because we're doing 50 classes a week, so there's positives from it, there's
it's giving people time to stop and reflect and look at what the business is doing, and then look at what have I been letting slide. And it's been given, and like I said, the education thing, now you've got the foundation there to basically roll out, where you were doing it as you had time between classes and stuff. But it's very uncertain times, and so as far as yourself and lifestyle and family and stuff, how has it been on yourself?
I think for me, it's really interesting because I moved in with my partner 6-7 months ago, and he's got 2 children. So I think for me, it's sort of his children moved in with him full time, and so for me, I don't have any children myself apart from my kids at the studio. So for me personally, it's been a bit of a crash course on how to be a parent, and living that life full time, lockdown with 2 boys and me and my partner. So, but it's been wonderful. It's been absolutely amazing, and I can't fault it. And the business side, taken away from that, it has, like you just mentioned, it's given me time to reflect. It's given Kelly time to reflect, both personally and on the business, and more time for me. Before this lockdown happened, like anyone does, when it's a new business, but we're in that studio from 7:30 in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning, till 10 p.m. at night, probably 4 or 5 days a week. Then you're in, all day Saturday, 8 till 5, and then we're there Sundays doing parties. We might have 3 parties in one day. So it was getting to a point where we were like, oh my God, we are working, but we're not having time to sit back and enjoy it as well. Of course we enjoyed it, but I think because we were involved so much, we weren't seeing the bigger picture of it. And as much as it's growing and it's fantastic and it's amazing, and we both, we sit there some days and think, oh my word, look at what we have achieved. But it's nice to actually come away, and this is one of the positives from it, is that we've come away from it, we can see what we've got, we can see what we've achieved, and actually what we can do for the future. So it's nice to spend time with family. It's nice to, text a friend or phone a friend, who unintentionally, I might not have spoken to for 3 or 4 weeks or 2 months, and, who I went to university with, and it's nice to get in contact with them, and that's certainly what this lockdown's done for me is rebuild those connections, with family and friends, and so that is a positive.
So are you going to slow down when everything goes back to normal, or are you going to be more considerate of you and
I think so.
how much time you need yourself?
I think for me, it's not necessarily slowing down as a whole. I think the business side is fantastic. It's amazing. And I've always been that type of person that I like to work. I like to, before the studio, I had 3 jobs. So before we actually moved into our new premises, I was a college lecturer. At one point I was a college lecturer. I was still having a dance studio in our old premises, and, I was doing lots of other things. So I've always been that way inclined, and Kelly is exactly the same. She's always been a workaholic, and that's just our nature. However, I think we will take away from this now is we will take a step back in the sense of we need to enjoy it more. We need to actually allow other people to take certain roles in the progression of the studio, and not it always being myself or Kelly, because we all break. I think myself and Kelly will one day, and we will start resenting the business because we are doing it 24/7, 7 days a week. So I think we just need to enjoy it more, as we do enjoy it, but we need to enjoy it and take a back seat a little bit and allow other people to progress the studios as well as myself and Kelly, and whether that's our teachers, whether that's new staff, who knows. But because what we have achieved is fantastic, but I think now we can enjoy it more. We've got through that first stage.
So how can people find you? Where can we find you? Are you doing much now on social media and stuff?
Yeah. So we have an apprentice at Connec Studios who is through Hubert College, and we've kept her going. Do you know what I mean? So she's still obviously not doing as many hours, but she's there still doing hours, still working on our social media. Myself and Kelly will still post. We have Lauren, one of our marketing team at Connec Studios, who does all the social media alongside Mia. So we are on Facebook as Connec Studios. We also have Connect Parties on Facebook. We are on Instagram as Connec Studios Liverpool, and again Connect Parties. And then we also have our website. So our website is current. It's up and running. It's a great website, and you see all the little tabs on there, what we offer and what we do, and you see our team and our staff. And that's www.connectstudios.net. So yeah, and again, our email address is exactly the same as info@connectstudios.net, and that's where you can find us.
But what we'll do is we'll put everything on, all the information, social medias on YouTube and on all the Facebook and stuff. And it's just a strange time that everyone's going through, but I think a lot of people are taking a positive, where we step back and reflect. And I think when everything goes back to normal, I think everyone's gonna be even better than what it was.
I think it'll give everyone that oomph, and that it'll give everyone their passions again. I think because taking 2 or 3, 4 months away, it will give us, certainly everyone that passion to want to achieve and want to go back to work and do the best possible you can do. And certainly for me, and not to go on, but I'm doing my masters at the moment at the University of Liverpool in business, and that again is a positive because I'm away being able to do my written work. And that sounds so silly, as much as I love the business and I love the work I do. Yeah. Sometimes I just haven't got the time to be doing an assignment. And this last 5-6 weeks has been fantastic because I've been able to do my assignments. I've got my dissertation coming up, So it's that again is another positive from all this, is that I've been able to sit and enjoy doing my work instead of rushing doing it. So we'll get there, and you'll certainly get there. The work you're doing is absolutely amazing. It's fantastic, and even just doing this,
it's our way of giving back and letting people that only see what's on the news and stuff, the real insight of what's happening to businesses and owners and that we don't see, and the struggles that is there.
It's the impact. It's behind the scene, isn't it? Like don't get me wrong. In my head right now, financially, I'm thinking, oh my God, what am I going to do? And blah blah blah. But what can I do? I just have to stay positive and hope for the best.
Exactly. The common trend that we're finding, that people, as much as they're on social media, the presence is on, the public are looking at it going, oh, they're doing all right. But really, they're not. They're doing it for their own mental health, to keep going, and because that's what we know. And there's a lot of worries, but that's why we're doing this, is to spread awareness of the troubles. And I think what we'll do is, after everything goes back to normal and the studio's back up and running, we'll come and have another chat.
Beautiful.
And to see how coming out of isolation and lockdown has impacted the business, because it's gonna impact a lot of people.
It's only natural that it's got to impact business for the long term, isn't it? So
exactly. Thank you very much for doing this, Michael.
No, thank you. Honestly, I really appreciate it. And it's nice to actually talk to somebody about it. That's another thing, is that, you know, I can talk to my partner, I can talk to, but he's working from home. So it's lovely to be talking to someone and expressing everything what's on our mind. So I really, really thank you for allowing us to do that.
So thank you very much, and we'll talk soon.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
All right, bye.
Bye.